Audio Jungle.
The global climate change is one of the current issues where many climate experts believe it is due to the greenhouse gases arising mainly from the human activities such as industrial, transportation and etc. The primary greenhouse gases carbon dioxide CO2 has significantly contributed to the climate change. The CO2 concentration in the atmosphere is observed has increased gradually since the Industrial Revolution. This phenomenon is expected to have the impact on natural and human environment if it's not addressed. The impact relates to the habitat loss, water insufficiency, health and environmental problem. Thus, the challenge is to improve system for capturing CO2 and sequestering it securely from the atmosphere to combat the climate change and its impact. Even though true innovation by science and technology would slow the impact, technology is expensive and needs sophisticated instruments and experts to handle, yet poses a high risk and uncertainties to living life. Moreover, technology is not limited to the technical issue but must incorporate ethical and social concerns. Hence, maximizing the ecosystem function and service, such as constructed wetland, in climate mitigation and adaptation is seen as a nature-based solution to sustain human and environmental system and deliver valuable benefit for people and nature. Constructed wetlands have been shown to have a high potential for carbon storage and are essential as a water resources, incorporating the carbon-water nexus, which is a great mechanism for calling the action in a climate change mitigation. However, less attention have been paid to explore constructed wetland valuation to integrate its value and services, which may result in lack of sound constructed wetland management yet may harm the ecosystem. Most recent models of constructed wetland were developed by bringing together only specific sectors and simulate only one of ecosystem services. To fill the gaps, an integrated approach to the carbon-water nexus framework of constructed wetland through carbon sequestration and water security is introduced to reduce climate change and optimize the sustainable management of constructed wetland. Therefore, this study attempts to formulate the carbon-water nexus framework for assessing the nature values of constructed wetland in the context of climate change. The carbon-water nexus is defined as the interconnection of the engineered and natural physico-chemical process at the interface of the carbon and water cycle. The carbon-water nexus depicts the interdependence of the carbon and water system in processing, supplying, distributing and using environmental resources. The advancements of the carbon-water nexus knowledge would be critical in developing long-term climate change mitigation and adaptation strategies. Effort to reduce carbon emission will significantly impact the water cycle, requiring integrated management to promote sustainable development of constructed wetland and reduce the unexpected impact on the socio-ecological system. In short, the concept of carbon-water nexus can be explained through the illustration consists of the process and mechanism of constructed wetland, which include carbon movement from the atmosphere across the landscape and soil into the water system as the watershed. Based on nature value theory and guided by Millennium Ecosystem Assessment Framework revolving around carbon sequestration, water security, the concept of carbon-water nexus and services of constructed wetland, a conceptual framework is proposed. The framework outlines two features: dichotomy of nature value and services of constructed wetland. It is a simplified model of integrating people needs and the ecosystem service constructed wetland provide in climate change mitigation. Nature value are the main features of the framework, consisting of the interconnected instrumental and the intrinsic value that comprise all constructed wetland ecosystem service. The instrumental value of constructed wetland benefit people by regulating and providing service such as carbon sequestration and water security. Furthermore, constructed wetland have intrinsic value that are inherited from their natural objective, such as regulating the environment temperature, producing oxygen, and regulating the quality and quantity of water resources. In contrast, subjective intrinsic value are linked to socio-cultural services for recreational and aesthetic, biodiversity, and heritage purposes. The importance of values and service of constructed wetland should be created between human and nature, as in the concept of the sustainability to live in harmony with nature. The proposed carbon-water nexus framework has four interconnected functions. First, to provide the practice of analyzing existing knowledge. Second, to act as a catalyst to generate a new knowledge. Third, to guide and support the development of implementation and associate policies. And lastly, to develop abilities relevant to achieving the stakeholders' objective. Therefore, to conclude, it is critical to translate the framework into practice and catalyze a positive transformation among the interconnected elements, particularly in the sustainable management of constructed wetlands.